Muffin cakes. Why are you always flat? Why are you flat? Oh, come on. Really? Damn it. So, before we even get started in this particular video, which is going to go off in a couple of different tangents on the car, just because I want to get a few things set up the way I want it set up. There's plenty to do. Like every car, man, I'll tell you what. You just keep perfecting things little by little by little by little until you get it the way you want it. And it may take a long time. I mean, this is episode 8 of this thing, and I can see 15 episodes at least. So, I want to talk about if my phone will not be stupid, I want to talk about a couple of things on here. So, the big thing I want to do is an immediate shout out to my buddy Chuck from House of Mopar. He stepped up and pretty much proved a couple of things that I said that weren't correct, so we're correcting them now. So the top color, okay? I was thinking it was the floral thing. That's what I was told. And, well, guess what? It's not. Because I pointed it out to me that the code on the floral top is completely different code than this. But this coincides with Tom from Rocket Restoration said, which was gold top. So, and or yellow top, depending on what you want to call it. But because Chrysler called it a yellow top, but it was actually a gold color, not yellow. So anyway, but that still makes this car pretty damn rare. You know, with a green car with a gold top, it's still pretty rare. And it's still a sales bank car. So, you know, it was put together as an oddball to see if it was going to fly with the general public. So I wanted to start out with that. Another thing that Chuck said too is the F44, I still going to stand by the dome lights because they offered several different dome light options for these cars. You know, like most of them you see is a round dome light, and some of them are rectangular, and some of them have rectangular with an extra switch, and you know, some of them have a dual purpose thing, which I don't even know what that is, but something along the lines of a VIP had some weirdo in it. But I wanted to talk about that. But he also said that this let's see, concentrate here, E44, not F, which is what I thought it was, I think, but it's E44. So he said that he thought that was for the 318. Okay, well, all right, but that's talked about over here, okay? F being 318, 9, 1969, and D, Belvedere plant. So I just wanted to kind of clear up the vinyl top color thing because it was said to be floral. It was the internet said it was floral. On these decode your fender tag things, I went to 2 different ones and it both said the same thing, and they're both wrong. So I'm going to own this stuff, but thanks for special guys like Chuck stepping up and Tom stepping up, you know, and I'm kind of bummed at Dave because Dave should have known this stuff, but it's still, no one really knows what the big W on the intake manifold is, which I've shown that in the last video, so I'm not going to take all that apart. I am actually going to be taking all this apart, so maybe because I'm putting in an oil pressure gauge today. So let's get after that and try to get some things taken care of. Also, there's been some other developments, which you'll see shortly. Well, in this Fury episode, which I wasn't going to do, but I guess I'm going to do it now. Everybody seems to like this damn thing so much. I do too. We're going to be doing some things. Some tools are required. This is a sending unit remover. This is a tool to change the location of the sending unit so you can keep the sending unit and run a auxiliary gauge. That will be, I will show how that's put in after it's put in, because I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time, and I don't own a GoPro. So there's that. It'll be broken up bits and pieces. So that's what's going on right now, because I wanted to show that. And I want to show something else. Dave said he never left the car outside because every time he did, got the carpet wet. Well, if you look at the bulkhead, there's that. And that's bad, because that's allowing water in that chamber of the bulkhead. What shit gets water in it, it's supposed to pass through and dump out through the, you know, out in the fender area and out from underneath the car, which is great. But when you've got this rusting away here, you probably have other, oopsie, more metal fell. You probably have other problems. Now, I fixed a few of these, and it's a royal pain in the ass to fix this. So, but I want to show you the real problem. And hopefully you'll be able to see it, because with my phone the way it is. Oh, good. My light's in here. Oh, no. I've got sunshine. Hang on. We're going to get there. That is sunshine coming through on the backside of my firewall. Now that's bad. So that is going to cause water to come right and run right down on the floor and rot the floor, rot the carpet. Well, just basically things get icky. So there's going to be some repairs in that area. And Mother Mopar, in her infinite wisdom, managed to leave me 2 beautiful holes below the dash for mounting a gauge. So that's where that's going. So I hear a vehicle approaching, and he is going to be helping me with some other things. So I got to try to climb out of here and probably move this. And I'm really sorry, I feel bad about this. This is a Chinese gauge. Whoops, right way up. There you go. This is a Chinese gauge, and I hate Chinese stuff. I will never buy anything made in China again. I just don't care. I'm done with China. I'll be back. So this is kind of a pain in the butt, because I got to lay across the engine compartment, this big long monstrosity of a car. Ooh, to show where that is. That's where your oil deal is. Where it comes up out of the block. And we are going to take this fitting that I created, and it is going to go in the block like so. And I'm trying to use the camera to do this, which I have never been very successful looking through my camera to try to do stuff. And this is one of those times when I'm not being successful. By the way, I put all this together and tightened everything up before I put this piece in. And seriously, I cannot do this. Really? You're that bad? Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking. So, spin this into the block. It's brass, so I'm just going to tell you, you want to snug it up really good, but don't overdo it. And the reason I say that is because if you're getting super tight right here, and it's got to go this way, you might want to stop. If you think you can get one more out of it, great. But snapping it off, you're going to have a really bad day. And getting a wrench on this thing too is a real pain in the ass. So just gonna tell you, 9 times out of 10, oh, I gotta use this end, 9/16. So yeah, so this is working out real good, the wrench concept. So when the wrench concept doesn't work, there's this thing called vice grips. Not to be confused with the guy by the name of Vice Grip Garage. And no, you can't leave it pointing that way. Well, vice grips ain't no fun either. I hate to break it to you. This is impossible to do, to tighten and hold the camera at the same time. I'll be right back. Now that all the bleeding is done and over with, you can see that the wires are reattached here. If my camera would ever try to focus on what I want it to, of course not. Anyway, so sending units back installed here, and that's there. But you see the location of the distributor versus the oil line where it's going to come out. And the reason that I put them this way is you can use a short nipple in here, but I don't recommend it because if something goes wrong, you know, getting a short nipple out of here is just a royal pain in the ass. Ask me how I know. The other thing is now we'll have the end connection and the ferrule and the plastic line that comes out of there. And as you can see, this is going to miss the distributor just fine. If the distributor has to be retarded, obviously, then it's going to be in conflict. But generally, I see more advancement in distributors than I see retarding anyway. This thing runs like a top. I don't know what the timing's set at, but it just works. So so that's this part. I seem to have lost the ferrule, and I put it in a baggie so I wouldn't lose it because it was loose. And I put it in a baggie and put the baggie somewhere. So we're really not too sure what that is. So I had to go rob another ferrule out of another kit. And we'll use that one on the inside of the car just in case something goes wrong. But the next thing is the line, or the kid's toy. I'll explain in a minute. Oh yeah, as long as I'm in here, one more thing I wanted to touch base on if I get my arm back. And I found this. This is loose. That's my coil wire. Well, I wonder, you know, you don't really want that heating up. So we're going to be looking into that too and find out why it's loose, because the nut's tight. So if it needs a small micro washer on it, it's going to get one. Or if it's missing its lock washer, whatever needs doing, I'll be doing it. Now for the next step, after we've installed that in the block, how many know what this used to be? Kid's toy. It's a slinky. So I got a trick for unslinking these, and it's called a heat gun. And just warm it up slightly and just pull it straight. I mean, just, you know, you don't want to get super hot. This stuff loses its ability to handle, you know, heat and oil and stuff. And it's got hot oil in it. So you really don't want to overdo it. Just want to make that perfectly clear. I'll be working on that next. And I will also be working on the interior fun. So, which amounts to this bracketry under here. Let's see, where did I put the bracket? Okay, right there. And these terrible screws that I hope will not snap off because, again, China. And, again, camera not focusing. So, this bracket is going to be, where's that landing? Like, right there. I believe. Yeah, I think that's the holes. Fairly confident that that was the holes from the factory. And yeah, so I have to go under here to look from underneath, but roughly it's going to sit like so. And it shouldn't have a conflict with anything. It's going to be tight, but I got to make sure everybody's happy. And because there is a hole over here, but there was a couple of holes. Oh, wait a minute. Here they are. We're way over here, right above the gas pedal, which is a great place to catch you right in the shins. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm too crazy about that, but there is ready-made holes right here. So, I do have another little hack that I want to show everybody too when it comes to Mopars, and I guess I'll show it on the inside and the outside. Rather than drilling a hole through your firewall, when Mopar, now you can see it right there. When Mopar puts their sound deadener in here, there's a little push-in deals that they used right there. You can see in the camera right there, and they're actually hollow, and they go all the way through the firewall. So if you clip the end off, and I'll show you what that looks like from the inside of the firewall. So if you get one that's not going to conflict with everything else you got going on, it's going to come out in the right spot on the firewall, which now I don't have the light out here, so of course you can't see anything. Let's see if I got another light that'll shed some light on this situation. It's not very good, but it might work. Here you can see I have, because I wanted to know where this came through. Good Lord. Springs and things in my way. There we go. Okay, I stuck a piece of mechanics wire through that. That goes all the way through into the inside so I can see where things are going. But also, there is some down here, and this thing annoys me. But there's two down here. You can see one right above the where the firewall pieces halves are joined together. There's one there, and there's one slightly higher between those two plug wires. And you could snip that off and literally go straight out of there and directly to your your oil passage. So I'm probably going to try to use that upper one because it's real close. They only sent 3 feet of line, and I think going all the way over here is a little ridiculous, and I might need that for something else down the road. So just to show that little hack, I learned that a long time ago, and it's kind of a fun little hack because then you don't have to drill holes in your firewall and get a grommet, or just have another hole for water to come through, because the line is almost perfect. It slides through that thing, and it's so tight, it's not possible to get any water through. So just wanted to touch base on that. I'm going to step away from this and try to get the gauge mounting situation squared away, and get the line run next, and I can't do that and hold the camera at the same time. Okay, well, that's a little too bright, so we'll dim that down a little bit. This new light my son got me has 3 settings. Burn your eyes off, bright. By the way, that carburetor did get a cleaning, not a disassembly and overhaul. It just got a good cleaning on the outside, and yeah, I was that guy. Come out. So anyway, I wanted to showcase what I did here, and I can get, there you go, perfect shot too. Now it just won't focus. Okay, well, so you get to see what's going on here. Sending unit is kind of off at an angle by the firewall. The lead is coming up here, which jumps into the wiring harness. And I'll show you on the other side where I went through the firewall, just through right straight through one of those push-through clips. Just works ideal. I've done enough of these. That's just a great spot to put those through. But I wanted to show you the adapter that I made. I fired this up, and we will fire it up here in a minute so you can see what oil pressure I got. I was pretty impressed with the engine with 125,000 miles. Let's the text from Jamie. Oh boy. Yeah, somebody got a trip to the cornfield, as in Iowa. Frequent flyer miles. So they won't be coming back. Probably banned for life, I suppose. Anyway, getting back to this, I wanted to show where I went through and exactly what I did, and camera. Okay, well, try to look through there. You can see the oil line right there. There you go. There's the oil line. It's going through the head of one of those clips. I just snipped off the tip, and it's hollow in the center. Went through the firewall, and Ended up coming out here. Right, oops, there. Came to right through there, went up and went over the top of the steering column and dropped down to the back of the gauge here. Somewhere I'll get the gauge. There's the gauge. There's the line. Right there. Also, I did bleed the line. I do that a lot. I know it settles back and all that stuff, and it looks like it drew some air from the thing, so I got to be real mindful on leaks. In the core, I had actually one that had so much oil pressure it blew the line off, and after that, race cars get copper line. I don't mess around with this stuff. If you're running 60 psi, this plastic stuff is just fine. Also, it's kind of neat how that dome light ended up lighting up the gauge, but that's cool. There is a light kit for this gauge, which I will be wiring in along when I wire up my tack. That'll be doing that. And the tachometer is going to be the next thing I take on when I get some more time. And this is cold engine, not high idle, just regular. And we get 50 psi, so I am very happy. I would not hesitate to drive this thing across the United States. So, I did notice, and you guys are going to laugh at how stupid I am, but I did notice I got an oil leak back here. It's like all over the place. So I'm going like, what the hell? Well, I was down to my son's and picked up a bunch of waste oil that I was supposed to bring up here, but then like forgot it in the trunk and drove all over Tarnation, and I have a freaking lake in my trunk mat. So guess what I get to do tomorrow, or tonight? I get to pull this out of here, clean up this mess, throw this thing outside so I can take it and get it pressure washed. I'm not very impressed with myself on that one. So, stupid is, the stupid does for us. So, anyway, gauge installed. Moving along. The Fury takes another leap forward. This does work really well. The coil. What I found out was some overzealous idiot cranked this thing down on the positive side of the coil too tight and stripped the threads on the post on the coil. And so what I did is I pulled that back off. I put the rest of the threads were fine. I was lucky to get the nut off. The nut was in perfect shape. The outer threads were good, so I put 3 little teeny washers behind it and tightened it down, and now no wiggle. So I'm happy with that. I will be hooking into the negative side of this coil for the tachometer next. When I get that far, there's so much going on in the shop, and I got so much stuff to paint next week. I don't think this thing is going to see this shop for weeks. So, guaranteed it will be weeks, because it's 70 some degrees and beautiful, and I am going to be bombarded. So with things that's got to leave here. Plus I got to finish getting rid of this. This is the last of the original mess that was in here. This bench will be cleared probably yet tonight if I have the energy, and will be located over there. So where I put engines and build engines and stuff. And yes, the loft is done. All kinds of good things, and ladders, and got some more artsy stuff to do, but that's just when I find time. The shop has taken just huge leaps forward, and the whole paint booth is completely redone. Everything back here is completely redone. I mean, it's been since February of working on all this stuff, and all this stuff has been redone, and my little man cavey type wall of all the stuff, but there's a lot more to be done. The loft and parts room still have to get done, and I will try to find time for that at some point. But I have people who want stuff done, and I gotta stop messing with this thing. But I've got this where I want it as far as dependability, so it's turnkey, drive it places, take care of the lake of oil in the trunk. Idiot. So, probably going to end it here for this video, I guess. And I'm going to probably do some other stuff later on, maybe, and throw it with this. If I get time to hook up the tack, that might be the next thing. But I doubt I'm going to get much time for messing around. So the next thing you guys are going to see is probably a yellow 73 Charger coming in the shop. That'll be the next. So there's your spoiler alert. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. And there'll be a hell of a lot more coming this summer. We have some really fun projects coming. So take care, all.